going on, guys? My name is Johnny. I'm the coach of your Cologne Conkeldurrs, and welcoming you back to our finally welcoming you back to our Week 8 matchup of the GPC. This time we're facing off against Tel-Aviv, coach of the Magcargo Tel-Aviv, the #1 spot in the league right now. Pretty tough matchup, not gonna lie. Well, it's gonna be a tough matchup anyways. He has a Landers Incarnate, which is good, but I don't think it's broken, and he has a Megalodias, and that thing is just ridiculous. Like, you can bring sets that actually are not that good versus a team, and they're going to wreck through them anyways, because this thing just doesn't die. Anyway, his other Pokemon are Sylveon, Feraligatr, Miltank, Darmanitan, Bronzong, Avila, Weezing, and Electabuzz. Now, when I started team building for him, I knew he was going, or I figured he was going to bring a certain combination of Pokemon. I knew Megalodius was coming. It was way too good not to come. I also figured that the Weezing would be coming 100% since it was his best switch in both to my Megalophony and my Scolipede. The next one I figured would come would be Electabuzz, because it's his best way of checking my Manaphy offensively. Megalodius loses to a Calm Mind variant if he doesn't bring Calm Mind Stored Power, which would need an additional coverage move to sort of be effective. So I can definitely play around it. I didn't think it would be Calm Mind or Stored Power, because simply it doesn't have the amounts of coverage it would need for my team to hit everything at the same time. I expected somewhat like Roost Toxic or Roost 3 attacks or something like that. Then we have obviously so we have those three, and then it started where it's kind of up in the air. I felt like he definitely needs at least one more defensive Pokemon, which could be either Bronzong, since it has a pretty decent matchup. It checks some of my threats pretty well, but it can also be set up fodder. It could be Miltank, but I wasn't sure why he would bring Miltank. It straight up loses to a lot of my mons. It's not the best versus my team in general. Maybe a Spadef Miltank could sorta, kinda take on my Houndoom, because it can take the Fire Blast pretty well. So that could be a possibility. And then the last two Pokemon could be offensive threats. They're like any of his Pokemon that could come to this match. Figured most likely a Choice Scarf Lando I, and either a Bandit or Life Orb Darmanitan or a Setup Gator or even Spec Sylveon. I regarded Spec Sylveon as the least likely, because it actually doesn't do that much to my team at all. Since I have Rachi to check it defensively, I have P2 to check it defensively, I have my Scolipede to check it offensively pretty nicely. So I didn't think Sylveon would come. And as we'll see, that kind of bites us in the butt later on. Anyway, the team I decided to bring was my Megalophony, my Houndoom, my Mesprit, my Manaphy, my Jirachi, and my Scolipede. Now, I knew I would have a tough time breaking through that Weezing. That was like the thing I had in my mind. I need to break this Weezing in order for either my Lopunny or my Scolipede to win this match for me. I also knew that once I get a couple one or two Calm Minds up with my Manaphy, I have a really good chance of sweeping through his team. If he doesn't bring Calm Mind Stored Power, Megalodia specifically, because I should be able to beat any other variant of it. Yeah, so I decided to bring a Calm Mind Manaphy, a pretty much standard sub Megalophony, a Spadef Rachi with Stealth Rocks. Oh no, with Stealth Rocks, with U-Turn, Iron Head, Psychic, and Protect just to scout out for his potential Scarfers, what they're going to go for, and so I can make according switches. I brought a sub SD, Mega Horning, Poison Jab, Scolipede, Black Sludge, to set up on the Weezing. He shouldn't carry Fire move. He can. The only thing that stops me from setting up on the Weezing, I thought, would be a Fire move. And even then I can dodge or stall him out of PP if it's not Flamethrower, because I figured he might need Fire Blast if he brings it, and that would be easy for Houndoom. So I figured I could set up versus the Weezing or the Bronzong if it came behind get my sub up, get an SD up, and then continue to break this one Pokemon over there, so Lopunny can have fun afterwards. Also, my Scolipede is a rather good way to check the Ladias offensively, which is another reason why I figured he wouldn't bring Calm Mind, because I have a really Scolipede just comes in, clicks Mega Horn, and Ladi's dead. So I figured Calm Mind Ladi wasn't the way to go for him. I felt it was really unlikely, didn't have good matchup, and as you can see, as you will see, he still brought it, and that kinda hurt me a lot, because I didn't play around and plan for that thing that much, because I just felt it had a bad matchup. Well, what you gonna do? No one of the 3 test matches I played brought Calm Mind Megaladias, so that's a thing. But Joris brought it, and obviously we'll see how it works out there. My Houndoom is just a great wall breaker versus the team, especially as I said, I didn't expect Sylveon to come. Now that Sylveon came, it's a bit less useful. I still have Sludge Bomb on there in case it's an offensive Sylveon. I should be able to 2KO it with that, or at least, or even with Fire Blast into Sludge Bomb, so I should be cool. I have Sucker Punch there, and 3 special attacks. So, Sucker Punch just to pick off one of his faster threats, like Lando or Ladi, or even Electabuzz. Mesprit's physically defensive with a Colbur Berry is my Lando check. If Land, looking at his team, I'm quite sure Lando is Scarf, because none other Scarfer outspeeds Megalopony apart from Miltank. That wouldn't be strong enough, and my Electabuzz, which is unlikely to be Scarfed since it wouldn't, not impossible, but unlikely since it doesn't have the power. Sorry about that. The power it needs to check my Manaphy. So I figured he has a defensive Ladi, or maybe a max HP Ladi, max offense Ladi, whatever. Probably enough speed for my base 100s. It looks like a Spec Sylveon, a defensive core of Weezing and Miltank, Scarf Landorus, and a Revenge Killer for my Manaphy in Electabuzz. And Electabuzz pretty good since HP Ice hits the only ground type on my team, so you can freely Volt Switch around. Keeping that in mind, by the way, my Rachi, no, I went over my Rachi set. Keeping that in mind, I wanted to lead off with my Lopunny, just to put pressure on immediately, because I can figure out his immediate switch into this, and depending on the lead, I can get a free substitute up, because if he goes into his Sylveon on this, it should take a lot, and yeah, I can find out anyway what he's going to do right here. So I'm trying to, if he leads off with his Electabuzz, great, I get a free fake out of, and afterwards, depending on if he stays in or switches, I can scout for his Scarf, or him being Scarfed or not. So yeah, I decided to lead off with my Lopunny, and he leads with his Miltank. I feel like there's no way he really will stay in here, but I'm going to go for the substitute, predicting a switch. As this works out, he goes into his Latias. I went for the substitute because even if he stayed in and went for T-Wave, I would have, it obviously wouldn't have mattered. If I had clicked return right away, I might have been able to 2KO the Latias, which would have been beautiful. But right here, I'm just trying to fire off a return. Look what damage I can do to this Lati. And he reveals the Calm Mind. So I obviously can't 2KO without Stealth Rocks. I knew that before. But he reveals Calm Mind, and I'm like, wait a minute. What? That's not good. I didn't prep for that too much. But yeah, I'm going to keep firing off some returns. Trying to weaken, maybe get a crit, maybe look at the rolls to figure out his spread more precisely. As you can see, the rolls are always around 44, 43. And here I decide to make the safe swap into my Rachi as he reveals stored power, and I was like more surprised, because either he's mono attacking with Refresh, which would make sense because I have a Dark type, so I still think he has a coverage move, but I make the switch into my Rachi just because I can get a safe slow U-turn out of here into my Scolipede. He goes for Roost, good play on his part. So I go here into my Scolipede. He's in range of a Mega Horn from this point, depending on the damage we did earlier, so I can go for a free sub again, and I can start SDing up. I go for the Mega Horn here just to gauge the damage and look if he has the fire move, but he reveals the taunt, and I'm like, fuck, my Scolipede can't beat this Weezing. The whole point of this sub was to set up on the Weezing, but he brought Taunt Weezing, which I didn't expect because like my whole team plows through Weezing, apart from Scolipede basically, and Megalopony maybe, but I didn't really expect Taunt. I thought coverage or maybe T-Spikes would have been better, but hey, he brought Taunt, so yeah, I'm just trying to go for a Mega Horn again, potentially bluff the Baton Pass, which he doesn't seem to be that afraid of. He goes for Hidden Power, which I expect to be a Hidden Power to hit my Mesprit, most likely, or Hidden Power Dark, maybe? Or no, it might also be like hidden power fighting or something for my Megalopony. It doesn't break my sub, so I can, without the taunt I would have been able to SD up here. He breaks my sub finally. And right here, I switch out, predicting his next attack. So Sludge Bomb comes out, it does a lot to my Houndoom, but now I can threaten this thing out. And he goes into his Miltank. This damage reveals he's Thick Fat, max special defense. So this is not a physically defensive Miltank, so I shouldn't be too worried about this thing. But I obviously can't stay in here, so I have to switch out into my Manaphy as he goes for the Thunder Wave. Now this is pretty annoying, but again I'm a rest variant, so I'm not too worried. I go into go for a Calm Mind. He decides to Calm Mind up again alongside me. He is faster, so I have no business winning this. I go back into Rachi on his Roost. He does a very good job keeping this thing healthy. He goes for another Calm Mind. I'm going for an Iron Hand just to keep him a bit lower. And next turn, I believe I'm going to U-turn out. Yep. He goes into Electabuzz. I'm going to my Mesprit, because right here, depending on the damage, I can find out what item he is holding, or if it's a boosting item at least. And I also think this is a good time to get off my rocks. Mesprit is still at a decent amount of health, so it should be able to take on the Landorus later on. And I decided that Stealth Rocks are important, since that it would be able to possibly ensure a 2 KO on the Megaladias later on, depending on rolls. Now Manaphy comes in, I can go back into my Manaphy. And right here I double predicting his Megaladias to want to come up, but he goes for Stealth Rocks. So he wasn't really worried about me going for the Calm Mind again. Great play on his part, he gets up Rocks, which is unfortunate. And now I have to switch out again because I can't have Scolipede paralyzed. Or I go for sub again, hoping he chokes or he misplays and goes for something else. Now I get my speed boost, but here I can't stay in. I don't really want this thing to get weakened anymore, but I had to switch out there, but I tried to catch him on the switch first, but, well, didn't work out. He kept spamming Seismic Toss, which is his safest play. I fully agree with this play, but yeah, you can try. He goes down, I go into my Manaphy, he goes back into his Electabuzz. I clicked Modest Surf here, so, or no, I'm thinking Bolt. So I clicked Surf here. So this is unfortunate because this Electabuzz would have taken a whole lot of damage. But now looking at this, I can go out into my Rachi, especially defensive. If he didn't have a boosting item, I can chew up any hit. Look what he wants to go for. He goes on spamming Thunderbolt. I can just go out, U-turn out into my Megalopony, and right here at this point, I'm pretty sure this thing isn't scarfed. By the way he's been playing it, and just by his team constellation. So I can go for the return right here. And even if he scarfed, by the way, Thunderbolt wouldn't have knocked me out from the range I was at. So I go for the return. He goes out into his Weezing. And now I can go back out into my Manaphy. I'm not afraid of what he might do to me. And if I get this off, I can rest up here, I believe. Believe is what I do. Nope, I get paralyzed. Yeah. So unfortunately, Manaphy has to go down here, or potentially. I decide to go for Surf then just to get off damage on the Weezing, because again, Weezing is the one thing I need to go down for my team to beat his. Like once the Weezing is gone, for example here, if I got the hit off, it would have been a great spot for me. Like if I wouldn't have gotten paralyzed right there, I would have been able to 2 KO or at least dent this Weezing and put it in range of my Megalopony, and from there on out I could have put in so much more pressure on this Weezing. But he gets the parry, unfortunately, thus is able to beat my Manaphy, which goes down. Again, the Calm Minding Megaladias I didn't expect beat my Manaphy, so nothing I can do right here. I'm going to go back into my Scolipede, and now here's sort of a 50-50. I'm not sure if he has Will-O-Wisp yet, so I will try SD up and play from as if he hadn't had Will-O-Wisp. Once I get to +2, if he doesn't have Will-O-Wisp, I can keep spamming Mega Horn right here and keep this thing low enough for my Lopunny to come in and then kill it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play off him not having Will-O-Wisp. He goes for Taunt. And I could have subbed, but then I wouldn't have been able to do damage to this. So here I can go to Mega Horn and actually do some damage to this. 36% isn't bad damage at all. I'm going to be able to 3-hit KO this. Nope, he has Will-O-Wisp. So here, my Scolipede is now basically useless. So I can just keep spamming Mega Horn to keep this Weezing. Oh, well, I miss. This Weezing doesn't want to be low at all. Never. It doesn't want to be low. Manaphy, Scolipede. Yeah, and another one. So what this does, it puts me in a really bad position, because now fake out into return from my Megalopony doesn't kill the Weezing. Otherwise I wouldn't even have to fake out. I could just double return and 100% pick up a KO right here. So yeah, this is really unfortunate for me. But I go into my Lopunny. I want to figure out the rolls. Yeah, as you can see, I thought that might have been GG. With the Black Sword recovery, I can't kill it 100%. And I don't want to catch a Will-O-Wisp, which I'm predicting him to go for. No, he goes for Slush Bomb, so go bye-bye Houndoom, and now the Megalodius is actually a threat. But here I can fake out again, and now he's 100% in range of my return. So I go for a return and finally KO this Weezing, but at this point it's going to be really hard for me to get this back. Right here, I calced. His stored power isn't able to kill me. It isn't even able to break my sub. So right here, I'm going to go for a return, hoping he chokes and doesn't roost. He roosts, not good for me. Great playing on his part, just bringing the Megalodi in on free switches, by the way. But now I get up a sub, and I can keep spamming return. At one point, he will have to break my sub. I have more returns than he has roost, so I can just keep doing this. And at here he breaks my sub, so I'm finally able to get rid of the Megalodias, which is like the biggest nuisance to my team. And now with the Weezing gone, and look at his team, nothing switches into my Megalopony anymore, so I have a really good chance of getting this game back, actually. Right, so right here I'm going to switch out into my Rachi. It's a really good check to this. He goes just for the Hyper Voice, revealing that he's Specs. I can go for an Iron Head here. It has a good chance to knock out Offensive one. Or I go for a Psychic, predicting his switch into potentially Miltank. That's what I did, I think. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, right, because if he would have knocked me out with the Hyper Voice right here, I would have gotten a kill with my Megalopony. See, what I can do is protect to look what he locks himself into. If he'd gone for U-turn, I could have made an according play, but he goes for knockoff. I have the Colbur Berry, so Mesprit isn't too KO'd. I'm physically defensive for that reason, because Earth Power doesn't hit me anyway. And right here, he has potential to make a double, or potential to stay in. But since he's locked into knockoff, I can pretty much safely stay in and just kill this thing, even if he kill this thing. Even if he switches out, I can still sack and get a kill with Lopunny. So what I am going to do right here is just going to go for the Ice Beam. This is my dedicated counter and kill the Landorus, which is great. Now I'm against the Miltank. He just goes for Seismic Toss, outspeeding me. Well, there's nothing he can really do to me. I can go back into my Megalopony. Since he's specially defensive, I'm pretty sure my high jump kick at this point will knock him out. No reason to go for anything. Well, oh yeah, I was afraid of the Choppleberry on the Miltank. I think no, it doesn't. Did it have leftovers? Yeah, it does. Maybe I needed to put it in range or something. I don't know why I faked out there. So it'll probably be bad play. Well, I don't think high jump kick would have done that much more. And here, he already saw it. I choke. I choked this game away because I have my Rachi, my safe switch in right here. But at this point, since I had such bad luck during the game, I was so excited to get this that I will have a good chance or can win this game that I choke. I know Sylveon gets quick attack. I saw choice specs, so I completely forgot that was an option. Pixelate quick attack. I should have scouted for that, went out into my Rachi, threatened this thing with an Iron Head. I could have done, after Stealth Rocks, this thing would have been in fake out range. I could have won this match. It really sucks on my part. That was a really bad play. It was especially annoying since I know Sylveon can do this, and I just didn't consider it at the time because I get overexcited. And also because this means that we have no chance whatsoever at making playoffs, I think. Well, only if the first couple seeds in the league keep choking. So yeah, he goes for quick attack, and that's GG. I can go into my Rachi, knock him out with an Iron Head right here. He's locked in. I think I go for Psychic, predicting his Miltank switch, because that way I felt he might have been able to save some differential, but he decided to keep on quick attacking, so I can just knock out this thing right here with an Iron Head. And now my only chance to win this game is if I can successfully flinch down this Miltank with a couple Iron Heads. So I'm going to go for it, get one flinch, get my leftovers, Get another flinch. Get my leftovers. Get another flinch. Nope. And he paralyzed me, which means it's basically GG. I can't beat this milk tank with milk drinking up 1v1. Yeah, so that's GG to Joris. Definitely I got a bit unlucky in this match. I felt I could have won that if some of my moves on the wheezing would have connected, but the the main thing was probably that I choked and forgot about the quick attacking Sylveon. Definitely unexpected sets. I didn't really expect the Miltank, didn't really expect the Megalodius to be Calm Mind, but hey, it works for him. So yeah, anyway, that's good game to Joris. That's our week 8. I'm happy to see. Well, I'm happy. Still happy to be in GPC. I'm still enjoying the league very, very much. Great couple of people. Even though this season has been pretty rough for me, I'm now finally enjoying and satisfied with the team I've got, which isn't something I was for the first couple of weeks. So, and looking back, without those first 3 weeks, I would probably be in a better spot right now. So I'm going to go to have fun, and my goal right now is to at least finish even. I don't want to finish with a losing record, so that's what we're aiming for. Yeah. So, I hope you enjoyed the video, if you were one of the few people, if anybody, who watches this thing till the end. My name's Johnny, I'm the coach of your Cologne Conkeldurrs. Oh my god. Cheers, I'm out.